My name is Vera Petkancin, and I'm also part of the Junior Achievement Bulgaria team. And we have prepared a session for you today, which we've named Hacking the Crisis Through Entrepreneurial Mindset. And actually, we want to put the emphasis on the role of education, the crucial role of education for fostering and building entrepreneurial skills and mindsets in young people. And that is why actually we've dedicated the whole session to our wonderful alumni, young people that you can see here whom we've invited to join us and speak and discuss together with us in today's session. And I would like to quickly introduce them to you right now. Upper left-hand corner, we have Georgi Kadrev and Georgi Mutavchiev, two young people from the tech sector. And we'll just have the opportunity to talk with them a little bit more right now. Then we also have Greta Stefanova, who is currently part of Junior Achievement Bulgaria's and the Edge's pre-acceleration program Beyond, where teams of young startups of young people develop startups in different areas. She will be speaking about their product in the healthcare sector. We also have Kostadin Kostadinov and Evgeny Dimov from the technical, it's actually 2S in Bulgarian. I don't know the name of your school in English, but maybe you know.
It's Electronic Systems.
Electronic Systems, yes, that's right. They are taking part in the JA company program this school year and have an interesting product as well. And we also have Apostle Dyankov, who is my colleague in Junior Achievement Bulgaria with very rich background in environmental and science as well, and the intersection between environment and economies and livelihoods. And we've decided to divide our panel roughly into three main areas, so temporal areas, so to say. And first, we want to talk about the short-term impacts and aspects of the crisis. Here we have Joro and Joro, who are going to talk to us about a new idea that they have, a new device that they are developing, and I think we'll also have the opportunity to take a look at it right now. So please introduce yourselves and tell us about this approach to hacking the crisis through entrepreneurial mindset.
Thank you for the introduction, Vera, and thank you for the opportunity to be part of this 10 minutes per team, or just to know how extensive to be in our presentation?
We have an hour in total, so I think you can go for about 10 minutes. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks a lot. So, Georgi and Georgi, we started the project less than 2 months ago after Georgi actually connected us with a few medical researchers willing to develop a solution that can monitor the status of COVID-19 related infections. And he contacted us because of the expertise that we have as a background knowledge in Imaga related to image processing. I was literally checking earlier today. It has been on the 19th of March, and just like 2 months later, we did a lot of progress. It seems almost like been working like, I don't know, a year together or something. So what has been exciting from my personal perspective, involved into medical imaging before, partially because it's a heavily regulated market and something that we don't have domain expertise. But based on the abilities that we have for image recognition and AI, and also our core technology lead, Georgi Kostadinov, we are 3 Georgis on the co-founding team and 2 more ladies. So we were able to jump in the project right away, and we were also able to start using our existing network, which to a huge extent, and I'm not saying this just because of our co-hosts from Junior Achievement, but it has been built around connections that we were basically developing 10 years now, more than 10 years actually, from the Junior Achievement Alumni Network, Mentors Network, and in general, the technology entrepreneurship educational environment that has been created in Bulgaria.
Yes, a few words from me as well. I can only say that interesting journey, because we have contacted people from many different technical fields, and we have managed to, as Georgi said previously, to build up a strong team and to make a very, very active and quick progress regarding the Kelvin project.
So I'll do a very short demonstration of how this works. So here currently you can see me in real time, me or both of us, maybe like this. But as you can see, there are certain temperature differences in the faces, in the area of the face itself. I won't unbutton my shirt, but typically in our application, you need to take a photo of yourself practically from the area of the forehead until your belly button. And we can analyze the blood distribution of your body, which might be somehow telling or showing if you have any specific inflammatory condition. This has been actions, so we can do some kind of a preliminary alerts if it shows that you have a certain progress of infection in your body before you start feeling it, to be able to spot that and look for potentially emergent medical care before it has actually been super necessary and you need to be intubated or something else. It unfolds still that this overall medical imaging approach can be utilized in a lot of different scenarios. We're currently, through the Digital Health and Innovation Cluster in Bulgaria, exploring collaboration opportunities, including with Novartis, one of the leading pharmaceutical companies in the world, to explore breast cancer prevention or breast cancer post-therapy inspection of how, let's say, certain medications or drugs are helping the remission. And to jump into this, because it turns out that the crossfield innovation between mobile applications and medical research can be a very useful tool that we can produce for the good of practically the whole humanity, no matter sugar-coated this sounds, but that's the fact.
Well,
yeah, if you have certain questions,
now I joined. Yes.
I get to see. So, Milena, do you have any specific questions that you'd like us to address?
Yes. First, I just wanted to say hi to everyone. Sorry, I think I'm learning more and more resilience and anti-fragility with technology nowadays, which is extremely relevant to the discussion of how we are approaching the crisis with an entrepreneurial mindset. And this has been something that we as an organization have been working on and developing for years, but now its time has come. So the name, there is a question in the chat about the name of the project. It is called Kelvin, and I think our two alumni could say a little bit more about maybe the process, how it happened. I wanted to ask you something. We said that the entrepreneurial mindset and behavior, and in general entrepreneurship, is a real solution to any kind of challenge that we have. And currently we are looking at a solution that you're providing, which is for a very timely and extremely critical topic and challenge. So what does it mean for you to pivot in these times of crisis in a new industry, and where do you get the resources and it's somehow applying knowledge that you didn't have, that you had before, but how are you leveraging what you had before and this new situation?
Yeah, thank you for this great question. So pivot sounds like something scary sometimes, but actually pivot comes out of necessity in many ways, or based on opportunities, or a combination of both. So what we were thinking from the Imaga perspective from the very first moment, that a lot of traditional businesses currently are freezed. So for a few months, our typical customers for example, in the travel booking industry that are using our solutions to moderate content or do any other kind of image detection, they're completely on hold. A lot of companies like Airbnb, Booking, and others, they had to have huge loans so they can sustain their companies during the time of crisis that still hasn't ended. So we're thinking, if we do something else and if we need to market something else in those few months, this will be complete, both because of looking at any new business development opportunities, they're more looking how to survive. And at the same time, the whole media attention is hugely and immensely flooded with things related to COVID-19. So if we want to be current and adequate to the situation, we need to do something into that area. And then enthusiasm and execution have been instrumental to implementing what we have implemented so far. I think that if you have the vision for something and if you believe in the future benefits of what you're going to do, both for the community and for yourself, this is a huge engine of motivation. And last but not least, the whole team, the energy around that, and related to that, the whole previous network that we have built. I briefly mentioned about this, I think, briefly before you joined, Milena, shortly before you joined, but with Imaga, we've achieved a lot of things. We also haven't achieved a lot of things that we wanted, but we built strong people who are what we do. They trust us because they know that we are here to stay and that we've had integrity in the things that we do. So it was almost like any doors that we tried to open were automatically open for us. And I think Georgi can comment as well because his core business is also related to connecting people.
Yes, actually, Georgi is right with exactly with the fact that a lot of companies were freeze during this period of the quarantine due to COVID-19. So we have called this moment exactly for collaborating with Imaga and the other companies that are currently in our team of Kelvin. So it was, I can say, very motivating for all of them because there are a lot of new directions that we can take together in order to escape and to get out of this situation. So I think our vision for the Kelvin project was a very proper one because it's actually do a lot that can contribute a lot regarding the fighting the COVID and other popular diseases worldwide. So I think we're on the right way, and actually the crisis has helped us somehow to build this team and to work together.
Okay.
Well, this is excellent. I think I disappeared again, but you can hear my voice at least. I think this is actually excellent news. Something we were talking about, that in this current environment, the partnerships would be a critical thing. And I think you forming a partnership among the two of you is already a great example of that, how this happens, because you are, in a way, two generations of JA alums and entrepreneurs. How did you meet, just out of curiosity, on this particular project?
Actually, it was a call from researchers team to me. It was a long time ago when I worked on some freelance project for them. But after that, I was very interested in their concept for creating this project. And after I heard the word image recognition, Georgi was the first one who came to my mind. And of course, I contacted him 2 months ago, and I'm truly happy that he responded positively on my request. And he engaged a big part of his team with all the professional experience and background. And actually, it was like very smooth process, so to say.
Yes, well, serendipity, as I like to say. Thank you, guys. I think I would like to move on to our next three panelists that come from two of our core programs and sort of trademarks of JA, educational programs. You know that as an organization, we very strongly believe that education is a way to approach when we have to also develop our intellectual potential, our capacity also for learning, and our capacity to create things. So we have with us today two students from the company Q-Detect from TUES, from the Technical College in Electronic Systems. And these are Kostadin Kostadinov and Evgeny Dimov. Guys, can you tell us about your experience first in the company program and a little bit about your project?
Okay, so as you said, we're students from the Electronic Systems School, and we are also a part of the Junior Achievement Bulgaria Student Company Program. Since we're students in that school, we have a lot of deep technical knowledge, and since our adventures in business entrepreneurship and the Junior Achievement Company, we've started to think how we could utilize our skills that we have acquired for achieving some kind of greater good. So the project that we will tell you about today is Q-Detect. It's really relevant in this current situation. What the project is in core, it's a system using AI computer vision, much like Imaga. We use AI computer vision and facial recognition in particular in order to track and detect faces. What we're using this facial detection for example, let's say a person is missing, he is wanted by an organization, he's under home arrest, and his location needs to be known. We propose a solution that just tracks people all over the world in any places. And I can actually show you what we have for now. It's a little PCB with a little camera, they connect. And it works by taking pictures in real time, sending them over to some servers, doing some data processing. What this can be used for is, again, finding the missing or wanted people. It could be used for tracking whether some person who is under quarantine because of COVID, a COVID infection, for example, whether he is actually breaking the quarantine or not. Costa, do you think I'm missing anything?
I think no. I want to say that because we are deep technical guys, if I can say that, a junior achievement program teaches how to be more entrepreneurship minded. So we can think not only for the code or for the project, but we can think of as a company. The whole project is a company that we learned how a company is structured and how maybe it can be a self. It can be a successful product on the market, not only technical with new edge technical technologies.
Yes, that's the case.
Mm-hmm. I think there is what you are saying very much reverberates in me, in the sense that with education and applying your technical expertise and something that you really find fun, let's say, and you care about, you can actually turn that curiosity of yours and interest in that sector into an opportunity to build your life or a professional life, right? So can you say that you've been infected by the bug of entrepreneurship?
Yes, very much. Something we actually, I think, forgot to say about the product is how exactly we're planning in order to realize it. We need, of course, public, not exactly public, private data, maybe from the government or from some other organization for the people we need to be tracking down. And what it could be used for, let's say we get all the data, live data, for the infected people with COVID-19. And there are many businesses which, because of the COVID-19 infection, are closed. They cannot operate. Well, there are a lot of steps that these businesses are taking in order to start operating again, like with instant contactless thermometers, checking temperature, they using various hygiene items in order to disinfect themselves. But one thing also that can happen is having our system like this with the camera as a filter, just being in front of the, let's say, on the door of the set restaurant or business or whatever, and it could also filter out many of the people who may be sick and they're registered sick, but even though they should be strictly following the rules, they aren't following the rules and they may be on call. So that's one more filter that we would like to propose to many companies, because only relying on government on the government to sponsor our project, we don't think that it's going to succeed, but that's our strategy.
Thank you, Evgeny. Thank you, Evgeny.
I sense poor connection.
Maybe to give a little bit of perspective on these three temporal dimensions that we started with and mentioned as a structure for our session today. So we decided we chose to start with short-term dimension, meaning the immediate solutions to the major challenges that we are having right now in healthcare and the economy, and what kind of solutions we can propose. And that is why we invited those really wonderful young people, Georgi Kudrev and Georgi Mutavchiev, to talk as alumni of Junior Achievement, to talk about the solution they're currently offering, and they are already built as entrepreneurs. Kudrev is really keen on sharing his experience with young entrepreneurs anytime he can. And he's in the Faculty of Mathematics and Informatics, and joining in as mentor. All the short-term dimension of people that have already gone through that whole process of education and building their entrepreneurial mindset and able to contribute to these most pressing problems. And we have the second temporal dimension, which is the midterm dimension. So this is where now we have invited young people who are now part of our educational programs, and it is midterm in the sense that we need to invest a lot of educational effort so that in a couple of years they become the new generation of young entrepreneurs who can join the ones that have already grown as successful ones. And in this term dimension, we have those educational programs that we mentioned, and now it's the time to turn to Greta and her experience as part of the Beyond Pre-Acceleration program. She's part of the Wisp team, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, and you're having this experience which has started I think in November, so it's a long-term 2-semester program that is actually quite demanding, but at the same time I wanted to ask you what kind of experience did you have there, and what are the skills that you've gained, and just to present us a little bit about your project. I know it's broader in terms of the healthcare system and supporting people transitioning from country to country, which is very, very often the case nowadays with the dynamic lifestyle that we have and people living in places or working in different places. So we'd be very curious to know what's going on right now.
Yes, to begin with, thank you with the nice intro. You said it pretty well. I have to write this down, maybe use it in the next presentation. My name is Greta, and I'm part of the co-founding team of Wisp, which stands for Wellness and Healthcare Information System Provider. I'm working currently with my colleagues Peter and Christina, who are unfortunately not being able to participate, but they're two great young people. Christina is a doctor and Peter is a psychologist who is currently working on other things as well. And basically me and Peter met at the Beyond Pre-Accelerator program that started in November, as you said. And since the idea that we started to work on kind of united us, we became a team. And after a while, during actually one of our potential customer interviews, I spoke to Christina and I really liked her, and I kind of offered her to join the team. So we're currently 3, and we're looking forward to expand our team since we really need human resource and workforce to make our ideas become reality. So if anybody from the participants in this webinar is interested, you can drop me a line and maybe we could discuss some sort of collaboration. I'm leaving you my email in the comment section, so you can contact me and I'll be happy to welcome new people on board. So basically, Junior Achievement organizes this pre-accelerator program that is called Beyond. And what we learned during this program is basically how to create a startup starting from scratch. We were working on the business canvas model of creating things, and afterwards we kind of switched to the business model side of the thing. So we learned how to do business planning, how to make customer research, how to basically make our idea become reality. And we had great mentoring from Jordan Iliev, who's currently part of the DHI cluster, which is the Digital Healthcare Information Cluster of Bulgaria. And he kind of guided us through the process, which we're really thankful for, and gave us great also connections and contacts with people in this field. Now I'm going to tell you more about Wisp, since I didn't really mention it. What we basically are doing is a platform for all administrative healthcare related information you will need when you move to a new country. Everything started with my own personal experience, since I've been living in about 7 different countries in the past 10 years. I'm an architect by profession, and basically I had to move because I studied in different places. Then I did my Erasmus program, then I started working, and basically what forced me to move is that of course, I was looking for better working opportunities. And I believe that many young people immigrate for this reason. And the immigration in the top 5 countries in Europe so far is about 1.6 million people are circulating in these top 5 countries, which are basically UK, Italy, Spain, France, and I think I mentioned them all, in Germany, sorry. And basically now, after the COVID situation, we're expecting that more people will start moving just in order to find better working opportunities. Since you know that many businesses closed and people are always in seek for the better. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide this very simple guide in 5 steps that is going to give you like a very good insight on what to do when you relocate in terms of your healthcare. Because very often you have a working contract, you're paying your health insurance and so on, like the statutory health insurance, but you're not being able to access the benefits of it before having done a set of administrative actions to get integrated. So what we're trying to do is to create this community. We also have a YouTube channel. And on our YouTube channel, we're interviewing a lot of different people who have different cases, since it's basically this information that we're trying to provide is public. But it's very difficult to get, and it's usually very dispersed in different sites and different sources. It's always in the local language, so it's very confusing, and it's very time consuming to actually understand what you have to do. So starting with my own experience, I have some serious back issues, and I always have to go through maintenance myself. As you know, maybe physiotherapy abroad is like 100 euros per hour, like per session, or MRI can be even 1K, which is a big amount of money, especially if you're a student. But very often people get to learn what they have to do when they're actually, I'm sorry for the expression, but when the shit hits the fan, you know. This is the moment when you start acting.
Eloquent expression. Real.
Yeah, but it's real and it's a fact. And then when you're actually in pain and when you're trying to do like to get yourself fixed, you're desperate and you're ready to pay a lot. But this is not necessary always, because there's a set of things that you have to do before in order to prevent this situation. So Wisp is trying to do this. Wisp is trying to help people get prevention in terms of administration. So they have their GP, they're registered in the local statutory healthcare system, and they also will get access to different insurances through our website, also through different services that are going to help them legalize and translate their documentation. Also in terms of support, we're also kind of discussing a B2B model in which we could provide assistance to big companies that have different international employees. So this is what we're working on, and if you want to check our website.
Yes, you can put it there. Thank you, Greta. You used perfectly this opportunity of a starting company. Can you say what it means? What does it mean for you to actually launch something that you've been preparing for in the midst of the biggest crisis? I mean, something that has been unprecedented. What maybe of your learning or of your experience helped you, or if not, how does it feel?
You mean developing something in the current situation?
Launching something in the midst of that you were preparing for. Was it what you expected, or was it? Is it a completely? Do you have to apply other skills? Is it completely acting in a shock state, or?
No, actually, I consider this time as an opportunity to work more, since there were absolutely no distractions, and as an opportunity to switch more towards an online way of working. So in the past few sessions, we actually organized our pre-accelerator program online. So we did this kind of huge Zoom calls with 20 people, and that was quite fun because I guess everybody was wearing their proper clothing up to here and then their pajamas underneath, which is fun because
it's kind of coming into place.
And many things came into place because this situation was actually an opportunity for us to see our product from a different perspective. At the beginning, I was like, wow, they will close the borders, people will stop moving. So what we're doing is absolutely unnecessary at the moment. But then I thought about it, and I said to myself, you know, they will never close all the borders, and actually people will start moving even more. And during one of our interviews with a potential customer, she shared that she never actually fixed her residency in Italy, and she happened to be in Germany when they closed the borders in her hometown, which is Berlin. It's not a town, it's a city. But actually what happened to her is that now she cannot go back to her apartment that has been like empty for months because she never fixed her residency. So she cannot prove that she's a resident in Milan, and she cannot go back home. And in this case, I asked her, why didn't you do it in advance? And she said, oh, it was too complicated and time consuming. So if there would have been a platform like ours, this problem wouldn't have existed, basically.
Occurred. Yeah, excellent. There is a question in the chat whether you have a website. I think you actually you can answer this. Thank you, Greta. Now I would like to go to our next approach in the temporal orders. And what recently I was listening to this webinar that was conducted by Harvard Business Review, and the interviewer was Angela Duckworth, who is the CEO of Character Lab, and she's been writing a lot on the grit and the power of passion and perseverance in life. And she said something that struck me, which is life is a marathon, not a sprint. And maybe in line with this thinking, we actually have been looking at using the entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial mindset as a way to address real long-term societal challenges. And we've been working as an organization applying this mode. Something that we see as a big opportunity in this current crisis is really a time to reset the values and to bring the conversation to some topics that are very relevant to us as human beings, and that have been sort of sitting in the periphery of the discussions and being a good PR opportunity, but never really been addressed at the core. So I would like to ask now Apostle Diankov and Vera Petkancin on our team to share with us our thinking and our, let's say, mindset and philosophy around addressing the long-term challenges that we have through an entrepreneurial mindset approach. So, Apo, would you share a few words about that philosophy?
Sure. Thank you, Milena. Also, thank you for mentioning Angela Duckworth's book, Grit. I recommend it also as a great read about how you can not only start things, but actually finish things. And it's really good for personal development. What we see in terms of the long-term challenges, I should say, things like dealing with climate change, mental degradation, with the need to transform to an economic model which uses less energy and waste, is that it requires a lot of grit from people, and also it requires an entrepreneurial mindset. And by entrepreneurial mindset, we mean here several things, and I think my colleague Vera can add a lot to what I will just briefly mention. And the first thing we need to do is to realize that as with the current situation, with the COVID-19 crisis, the long-term situation with the climate change crisis, and with the need for complete social transformation and adaptation, and as Milena said in the beginning, anti-fragility in the system, it really calls for that part of the entrepreneurial mindset, which is about working in the conditions of extreme uncertainty, a lot of change in the environment, and still being able to, in essence, achieve results through validated learning, because this is what we teach everywhere in basic entrepreneurship, but it is more important than ever when we consider the long-term crisis, because something like climate change does not have the inbuilt system so that you get the constant feedback, like you do, in the IT sector with learning validation with clients and apps and that kind of thing. So we are really building the entrepreneurial mindset that can work with a lot of stakeholders, not just straight up business entrepreneurs, but also with scientists, with institutions that are dealing with change, with the non-government sector, and with social entrepreneurs. And at this, I'm going to let Vera speak a little bit more also about how we develop entrepreneurial programs in junior achievement to our work on the so-called GREEN. So this is a program that we developed not only in Bulgaria, but now also in Africa and Latin America. So Vera, are you there?
Sure, I think I'm here and I was able to hear what you said. Yeah, so we've been discussing in the team, and what we like to say also publicly in different events and communicating to teachers and students and also to business partners is that we actually, if we look into the future, we have about 20 to 30 years more in terms of the carbon budget that the planet has and has not depleted yet. So in these 20 to 30 years, it's really, really crucial. It's actually one generation that we have in order to do everything that we can to avoid large-scale planetary overturning of the current way that planetary processes work that exists, and before some really, really large-scale consequences that we cannot even predict very well at the current time happen with rising temperatures. So it's our responsibility, and we really feel it's our responsibility to do everything we can through the expertise that we have in order to prepare with educational instruments this generation that is currently in the schools in order to be able to provide how to say more positive and more entrepreneurial solutions. In order to have a very, very difficult task, and that task is to men with some, I believe in the last we've let ourselves that probably we can extricate ourselves from the laws of evolution and somehow really be above it. But in the same time, I think we are still so much grounded into the just into the way that nature functions, and we're dependent on the natural resources and on the services that provide to us. Way that I strong words to this. This is, I think, difficult task just to be able to convey that kind of understanding and consciousness to people processes, because that's the only way through which we will be able to really inspire people to be motivated intrinsically and from inside to want to take action and to want to take entrepreneurial action. And this is what we're trying to do with our green entrepreneurship course, which is actually for high school students. But I think we need to maybe think of the age and even going to middle school or primary school, so that young people the opportunity to really experience nature on a daily basis, which is quite difficult in the current way that our lives are structured, or living in the big cities for most of us, and being constantly bombarded by some visual stimuli that kind of start from TV or from the screens that we are constantly staring at. And at the same time, we're missing out on those slower processes that unfold in nature and that actually the kind of fulfillment. And we need to have a way to experience, be able to start conceptualizing about nature and the well-being systems at the solutions. And the good news, there are 8 examples of young people all across the globe that are, taking, stepping. So much time left actually. And they tend to, of course, because they require immediate attention from us, they tend to kind of obscure sometimes the necessity of action, longer term problems. And I think climate change is a really good example of that because it's something that we cannot really grasp in our minds in terms of complexity. And it kind of makes us feel paralyzed in terms of taking action to solve it. And I think in this way it's very important what Apple also said about grit that Milena cited and resilience. Those kind of attitudes are so-called soft skills, but are something that's incredibly important for us to develop in young people.
Yes. Well, so would you say that it is in the power of each one of us or of organization, one or two, to try to do something? Whose responsibility is it in the end to reset those values and to make this happen?
That question actually to the students that enter our program. Sorry, if you can go on.
So I say to say mindset requires of us to think that it is us who can make the change, and it is us who are trying to that we can students and to inspire them to learn the ecosystems and ecosystem pros, so that they can really identify the places where they So the entrepreneurship is, we cannot wait for somebody else to, to do something.
And in that spirit also, what we have got from the students in our recent surveys on green entrepreneurship is that they think that this responsibility is shared across different types of institutions. It's also business, but it is also society. It's the people, it's even the media, but also organizations that are working in this area. So we want to teach green entrepreneurial mindset and entrepreneurial mindset in general to everybody, no matter if they are a straight up business entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, or they are internal entrepreneur that are going to be working in a big institution or organization for social change.
Yes, thank you. I think now what I would like to do, I have asked if there are any questions in the chat, please put them there, but I will ask just one because we are approaching the end of the session. And I am fighting between being very frustrated that I cannot see you and being actually very happy that at least I can talk to you. But I don't have any feedback on this. So I will ask the question to each one of you. What is your message to the people now in 1 or 2 words? Choose a word that you would like or a sentence that you have this opportunity to kind of shout out to the world now. What would you choose?
Okay, if we do it in the... Yeah, I have a very traditional one that says that you need to find something that you love, you can do, and it's valuable to people. But I wanted to comment something. It will be a sentence, sorry, not just a word.
Yes.
Because you said that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. I had this metaphor thinking for a lot of time, and I think it's a chase or it's a hunt. Though I'm vegetarian, but if you take the hunt analogy, it's not either just slow running all the time, and it's not just sprinting all the time. You have these periods, this kind of a roller coaster.
Here.
very static, expand on things, and sometimes you need to rush and be in a huge hurry. So this is an adaptive. This is I think a hybrid between a sprint and a marathon, and people need to be aware of that to preserve energy, but also to be able to run very fast when it's needed.
Yeah, I actually can continue on this. It could be a combination of sprints, some more intense, others a little bit more slow motion, and a lot of iterations of these sprints. Thank you, Georgi, for this, George.
Sorry, I'm leaving you because I'm joining a next webinar that it's almost starting. So
yes, thank you so much.
I watch the recording for other speakers' advices. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Greta, what would be your message?
I would like to continue what Georgi started saying. We have a saying in Bulgarian, "Bързай бавно," hurry slowly. Basically, this should be what we all have to do, and we have to adapt. People are built to adapt, so we will adapt to the virus. The virus will adapt to us, and we will have to also adapt our economy to this kind of situations, because unfortunately, during the past 100 years, healthcare hasn't really evolved in such a way that would handle this kind of situation. So we're still handling them as we used to in the past century, basically. So let's all of us just put our brains into this and just make the world a better place for the sake of well-being and for the sake of just moving things. Don't give up. The crisis is just a challenge, and it's a test that we all have to overcome in order to make this economy go on. So don't give up, and yeah, this is my message to everybody.
Optimistic and resilient. Thank you. What about Kostadin and Evgeny? What about you?
So I will be short. My message is to see opportunities not only from one side. It's always two-sided.
Yes, to look at diversity in opinions and opportunities. Thank you. Evgeny, you?
What I'd like to say is that everyone should find what they're best at and find a way in order for them to help others with it, to be useful, to benefit yourself, benefit your close one, your relatives, and benefit society as a whole.
So we really, this really exemplifies the thinking that the Generation Z is interested not very clearly in themselves, but also not just in themselves, interested in the impact of everything that is being done and produced by humankind, also later on. So thinking about the causes and the impact that we are causing to society in general and to the nature. And what about Vera and Tapo, you, in short?
It's about validated learning. I already said it. We need to do as much of it as possible.
Thank you. Using science for our side, to our side, to our benefit. Vera, you?
Well, I really liked all of the messages so far, and I would only add one word, which is regeneration. I really recently like that word a lot, and regeneration in terms of in every possible sphere, in agriculture, in construction, in all different kinds of industries. We need to have that outlook and make it mainstream.
Yeah.
This was just a throwback to this topic. We have to slow down, regenerate, but not stop with our ideas and progress.
Yes, I would then say my thing. Everyone knows me as a very unbroken optimist. So this is my first message. But I think having real clarity about your goal and about your lifetime's mission, and also what is inside of you as value system, is something that becomes really important in times of adversity. And I would really bet on that, building that new spirit of anti-fragility that is continuing, persisting with your dreams, despite of every challenge that an obstacle that comes in one's way. So thank you all. I really wanted to thank also Trending Topics for this opportunity. I think it's incredible that they managed to set up such a conference in this time. And thank you. We appreciate to be part of it. We think it's very timely and it's very actually relevant, the solution that you're providing, that is the entrepreneurial behavior, mindset, attitude, that is the solution to all. Thank you. See you all in another time and space soon. That JA is organizing a lot of these virtual and live and then in-person face-to-face sessions. So looking forward to meet all of you who are interested. Thank you.
It would be a pleasure. Have a great day, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.
Have a great day.